My name is Yeong Kim, and I'm a faculty member in the Human Development and Family Sciences program at the University of Texas at Austin. Many undergraduate students will volunteer or take a research class to do research with a faculty member in a research university. And I wanted to share some key tips students can take with them to become a superstar undergraduate research assistant. The first most important thing students need to remember is that they need to under-promise, over-deliver. Under-promise, over-deliver. What that means is most students will often do the opposite, where they over-promise and under-deliver, meaning they will tell the faculty member, oh, doctor, I think I can get, whatever thing we agreed on by this date. But then when the date comes around, students will often not have the deliverable ready and ask for an extension. And so if students keep doing that multiple times, then it can actually reflect kind of poorly on the student. So what I recommend is that students always under-promise but over-deliver. So if you think it's going to take you, 1 week to get something done, then you may want to say you can get something done in 1.5 weeks. But then if you end up getting it done in a week and deliver within a week rather than 1.5 weeks, and you get it delivered a little bit early, it actually looks really good, because then the faculty member will think, oh wow, this student will say they need a little longer, but then at the same time they always get it done earlier or ahead of time. So again, over promising, under delivering is not the way to go. What you want to do is under promise and over deliver your deliverables to whichever faculty member you're working with. The second most important thing that students need to remember is how to use AI tools effectively when they're working with a faculty member. A faculty member's job is to publish original research, and when they're publishing original research, students should never put any of that original research that they are trying to publish in AI tools. So undergraduate students are used to being in a classroom where they're given readings or primary sources of journal articles that are already published. So students are used to putting those PDF files of journal articles into AI tools to help them summarize the article, to learn what the article is about. And they use that as a learning tool. But when you are working with a faculty member who is trying to publish original work, you can never put that faculty member's original work in AI tools, because if you do that, you're compromising the originality of that research and compromising that faculty member's ability to publish that research. So it's really important that you have a very honest, frank conversation with your faculty advisor to ensure that you are using AI tools responsibly when you are working on your faculty members' research projects. The other thing to keep in mind is when I'm writing with undergraduate students for my research papers, students don't realize the importance of going beyond summaries that AI tools can do. So if I assign 2 or 3 papers to a student, sometimes what students will do is use AI tools to summarize the article. They don't go in depth in reading the article themselves, figuring out what are some important critiques of the measures, the theory, or the conclusions they gave. They just sort of rely on AI tools to help them do that. And of course, if a topic is difficult, we understand that students need to use the AI technology just to get a start on what that topic is about. But in order to really write an original research paper, come up with a novel research idea, you have to really dig deep into an article or articles that a faculty member assigned to the student to be able to really make an original new contribution in that research area. So while AI tools can be helpful, you don't want to overly rely on it, because it is important to do a close reading of the article to really understand and critique the article, to understand how to make a new contribution to that field. Another thing I notice students doing is students will try reading these 2 or 3 papers to get a sense of that topic. In order for students to fully understand a given subject matter or a scope of a particular area, you have to go beyond those 2 or 3 papers. It may take 20 or 30 papers reading those papers in a particular area to feel competent in it to be able to write with your faculty member. So again, never put original drafts of research with faculty, especially if those original drafts have not yet been published into AI tools. And it's important to use AI to summarize, but that does not replace students' need to look at the article in depth a bit more and critique it and understand what are the flaws in those studies to be able to build a new study design from that. Third most important thing to think about is being in a research lab long enough to show progression in the research lab. So again, staying with the faculty member's research lab long enough to show progression. So progression can be anything from data entry in the beginning semester of working in a research lab, and then maybe the semester later running an experiment, and then a semester later leading a group of research assistants, and then by the 4th or 5th semester of a student working with a faculty member, they can co-author a publication. So what this means is that it doesn't take just one semester to develop a relationship with a faculty member to get a good, letter of recommendation or to understand the field of study. It can take years to develop a relationship with a faculty member in order to become a superstar undergraduate research assistant, where you can get a strong letter of recommendation for graduate school or professional schools. So again, in summary, in order to be a superstar undergraduate research assistant, the first thing I recommend is always under-promise but over-deliver. So under-promise but over-deliver. 2, never put original drafts of the research that your faculty and you are working on to be published into AI tools. Third is to show progression by staying multiple years with the faculty member's research because it takes those number of years to develop the skills needed to become a research assistant with high quality that can result in high quality letter of recommendation.